Next battle is up. This is the last one for the Finnigan 40K Fight 'em Up series heavyweight class. They were just on the table here a couple minutes ago, saw Angron decimate the Norn Assimilator. I'm not going to lie, I was blown away by that, and I don't know why a model like the Norn Assimilator doesn't have an invulnerable save, but it does not. Our next fight here is Roboute Guilliman, the Primarch of the Ultramines, versus Mortarion, who is his brother, but now a Demon Primarch of the Death Guard, worshipping the Chaos God Nurgle. These models, there's some big differences right off the bat if you look at the stats very quickly, but Roboute has some pretty interesting abilities that might have him coming back with a second life and also making some pretty crazy saves. The Death Guard, as we just saw during Last Stand series as well, got a new codex very recently. So I used to play Mortarion a little bit. I've played him a lot in 30K, but not so much in 40K, and I played him with the old rules. So I apologize if I'm trying to look at stuff because there's a lot of stuff added here. So Mortarion has a 10-inch move. Roboute has an 8. There's a toughness 12 to Mortarion and a toughness 9 to Roboute. 16 wounds for Mortarion compared to 10 for Roboute. They both have an invulnerable save this time, though, of 4+. So we're going to do, as we always do, have a roll-off. Whoever rolls the highest gets to select their corner of the table first and also get the first move. So I'm going to be rolling white die for Roboute. Just want to make sure that that's in frame. So he got a 2, and Mortarion has got a 6. So this is going to be going over to Mortarion for the first setup and first move. There's Nurgle's Gift here that's involved. The Hand of Dominion, though, that is used by Roboute has a 30-inch ranged attack, which is a little bit further than Mortarion's Lantern, which is 24 inches. And then he also has Rotwind, which is the psychic attack that's 24 inches as well. So I think this is going to be a really good one. I know these two have battled before on the Games Workshop site in Warhammer TV. It was called like the Garden of Nurgle or something. It was a really cool battle, and it was kind of when both these models first came out with 8th edition. I think they're both from 8th, but we're going to get to this one soon. I'm going to set up, recap where they've been placed, and then we're going to go from there with Mortarion's move because he's going to be able to go first. All right, we're ready to start here. So the models have been placed on the table. We have Mortarion in this corner down here with that 10-inch move. He can fly. And then we have Roboute over here with his 8-inch move. So it's going to be moving to Mortarion first, and he's got that 24-inch range. So I'm going to have to maybe play the same kind of game I did with Marneus Calgar to beat Abaddon. We'll have to see. If you guys want to check that out in the Fight 'em Up series middleweight class, we had Marneus Calgar fighting Abaddon, and Marneus actually beat him. I didn't want to call him a coward, but he was kind of backing up for most of the battle. The thing here is the models move so fast and so far that I don't think they're going to have as much table to run away from, but we'll see how it goes. So we're going to move first here with Mortarion, and I'm going to fly him out the side here, similar to what the Assimilator did. So just to show you guys that 24-inch, it's going to be pretty much almost right off the bat. So if Roboute is in cover there, he'll be able to hide behind the structure, but as soon as he pops out, anything in this arc here is pretty much in range. So we're going to move Roboute now for his turn. And I am going to pop him right into that cover to make sure that he's not in line of sight for Mortarion. He is not. And then to show you guys the Hand of Dominion, which is the pretty much a heavy bolter attached to a power fist because of the size of Roboute. I know he looks very small against Mortarion, but he's very large for a Space Marine. He pretty much has the entire board within his arc right now. So it's going to be interesting. I think Roboute is going to get the first shoot. It's not the strongest weapon against someone like Mortarion. It has a strength of 6, but there's always possibility of luck of rolls, so we'll see what happens. And Roboute is also going to have to consider that we have the Nurgle's Gift going right now too. So currently it's 3 inches around the models that have that ability. So just to show you guys that, and that affects it, it penalizes any model that's trying to get into hand-to-hand or shoot. And as the battle progresses, so next turn that is going to be moving to 6 inches, which is quite a bit further. And then in the last turn, if it makes it that far, it's a 9-inch circumference around the model. So that's going to be a lot. And you can just imagine like pestilence, flies, rot, stink that's floating around Mortarion, and that just continues to get larger and larger as the battle progresses. And then in time, it's going to be in the eyes of whoever's trying to fight him. So we're going to move here again with Mortarion. He's going to be cruising right in to try to get into hand-to-hand combat with his brother here. So there he is. And let me just see with his height, he's actually got line of sight on Roboute right now. He does not. So Roboute is still in cover. I am going to pop Roboute out. Just make sure that I have the right inch movement there for him. It's 8 inches. It was 10 for Mortarion. So I am going to move him not his full. I'm going to move him to the middle here so he can duck back into cover if he needs to. And this is going to be the shoot phase for the Hand of Dominion. And he's going to unload on Mortarion and try to do some softening up there before he comes in with that massive scythe. His scythe silence that he's had since the Horus Heresy, 10,000 plus years old, probably from before that too. So not a great weapon, the Hand of Dominion, but actually if it's within 15 inches, it's going to be a rapid fire 2. So it's going to give me a couple extra shots. And he is. So 2 attacks turn into 4. So what happens there is with a rapid fire weapon, you get an additional dice allocated from the profile, mattering on if the model's half the distance from its maximum range. So I just want to roll here again on camera, make sure it's good to go. So Hand of Dominion hitting on 2+. This one fell off, so that's a 1. We have 2 6s and a 5. So I'll pull this guy out. It is strength 6 versus toughness 12. So I'm going to need 12s or 6s to wound here, which is pretty crazy. So he got 1. So 3, 4, 6. And this here is -2 to AP, which brings Mortarion up to his 4+ invulnerable. Roll that here too. And he rolled a 1. So there has been some damage allocated right off the bat by Roboute Guilliman and his Hand of Dominion. So that's 2 damage to Mortarion, and he is down to 14 wounds. Pretty good roll. If I'd gotten a couple more in there, it would have been better. Right now, Roboute is not going to be affected by that Nurgle's Gift because it's just kind of popping out to around here, around the model, like just around those buildings pretty much as a diameter. And it is, however, moving over to Mortarion. He is not in range for hand-to-hand combat, but I'm still going to fly him in. And he's going to shoot with his weapon, which is Lantern and then also Rotwind. So there's not a choice of profiles here. You're going to be taking both. I'm just going to center up the camera there for that, and we will roll in just a sec. Okay, so I have the models centered up a little bit there, a little bit zoomed in. First is going to be Lantern, which is Mortarion's range attack. So it is a 24-inch attack, definitely in range, considered a pistol. It is hitting on a 2+. He got the 2 that he needed, just barely. It is a strength 10 versus toughness 9, so 3s to wound. And he did not wound. So that one bounced off of Roboute's armor, or he blocked it with the Emperor's Sword maybe. Next attack is going to be Rotwind, which is a psychic attack. And it is D6 plus 3 attacks. So that's not good for Roboute. It's going to be a full 6 die, which is the highest you can roll, plus 3. So there's our 1, 2, 3. So 9 attacks in total here, hitting on a 2+. All of those are through. Also not good for Roboute. Just want to make sure that's in frame for you guys. Yep, that's pretty good. So I'm going to pull these out. All of them have wounded, and we're going to see if Roboute can now save. So he is affected by a -2 AP because of the Rotwind, which brings him up to his 4+ invulnerable. So let's see what he can do here. And not a very good roll. So we saved 1, 2, 3, 5, 5, 6. These are all through. Rotwind, luckily, is only 1 damage per. If that was more, it would not be good. but that is going to be 6 wounds, bringing Roboute down to 4 wounds. There we are. And I'm going to have to consider what I'm doing here with him. So I was able to peel off a couple of wounds with the Hand of Dominion, but I think I'm going to be using the Emperor's Sword here in hand-to-hand combat. Just going to look at those stats. I'll be right back to show you guys what's going on. I also have to consider that the Nurgle's Gift is also in effect there, and it is now at 6 inches because Mortarion had done his move. So this is in the second turn, and that's going to affect Roboute's to hit. So I'm going to just do some strategy here, come right back, and we'll get going with what I plan to do. There they are. So what I am going to do here is I am going to move Roboute Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramines, in against Mortarion. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to use his ability to come back after this, because there's a very strong possibility that he may die here. Nurgle's Gift is also in effect right now. So from this, right away, the toughness isn't affected, but if and when Mortarion's allowed to do a counterattack, there will be a -1 toughness to Roboute, which is going to affect him. And then there's also something that you can choose from the Nurgle's Gift. So there's Skull Squirm Blight, which subtracts 1 from the hit roll, which I could do right away. So that would mean that Roboute is going to have a harder time hitting him. There's also Worsen the Save characteristic called Rattle Joint Ag. I might do that, because I have not been rolling well. And then there's also Scabrous Soul Rot. More for objective control, which is not the case here. So I have kind of 2 to choose from on this profile. For this one, I think I'm going to have Skull Squirm Blight. So you're usually supposed to choose this at the beginning of the phase. I actually didn't do that. I was off camera, but I decided to do Skull Squirm Blight. So that's in effect right now. And that is going to -1 from the hit roll of Roboute as he comes in. Roboute is still going to be fighting first here with the initiative, and he's going to get some attacks in. If he rolls well enough, it's very possible that he could possibly kill Mortarion, but that toughness on Mortarion is very high. And now also the hit roll is going to be much harder for Roboute, because I'm going to have to get a higher roll for that. So there is 2 profiles. There's 2 profiles for Roboute. So the Emperor's Sword, which is going to be 14 attacks, hitting at strength 8. Usually a 2+. That's going to be a 3+ now because of the Nurgle's Gift that is on the battlefield right now. And then also Hand of Dominion, which is an additional 7 attacks at strength 14. Usually a 2+, but that's going to be a 3+. So that can do some big time damage, because it is damage 4 and a -4 to AP. So we're going to get rolling here. I'm going to grab my dice. I'm going to start off with the Emperor's Sword. This is the sword that the Emperor used to fight Horus and fight during a bunch of campaigns and the Horus Heresy, Siege of Terra, all that stuff. So very cool that it's here. It's in Roboute's hand, and he is going to hopefully knock down Mortarion with it. So this is 14 attacks, usually hitting on a 2+, 3+ because of Nurgle's Gift. There they all are. Some of them fell off camera, so I'll move them up for you guys. So we got a lot of 1s around the base of Roboute, and then everything else except a couple more have gone through, so they've been able to hit. These were 2 1s. They're going to get pulled out. I'm actually going to zoom out a wee bit so you guys can see those dice a little bit better. There we go. Give me some more range to be able to throw my dice. So these are all through. It is a strength 8 versus toughness 12. So we're going to need 5s to wound here, even with the Emperor's Sword. It's an older piece of tech, so, and that's not good. So we needed 5s. There is 1 that has gone through with a 6. You can see that near the base of Mortarion. So it is a -3 to AP. That's going to bring Mortarion up to his 4+ and vulnerable. And he made it. So the Emperor's Sword was blocked by silence or by a kick or whatever he did there. Next up is going to be the Hand of Dominion, which is actually a stronger attack than the Emperor's Sword, which is kind of crazy, but that's what we got here. So this is 7 attacks, usually hitting on a 2+, now hitting on a 3+. And a few more of those have fallen off. So we have 4 that are through. So you can see like a couple of those would have gone through, but with that Nurgle's Gift, it really gives Mortarion an advantage. And you can picture here too, like Mortarion's, the stink of him, like he's rotting. There's flies all over him. There's pestilence. There's like ooze coming out of him. So Robute's having a tough time seeing his bro right now while he's trying to swipe at him with the sword and with the fist. This is strength 14 though versus toughness 12. So this is actually 3s to wound. All of those are through. And it is -4 to AP. Usually this would pretty much kill anybody outright because of that. But since Mortarion has that invulnerable, it's going to be a 4+. Oh, wow. So he made 1 save. This, however, it is 4 damage per with the Hand of Dominion. So we have 4, 8, 12 damage. Mortarion is down to 2 wounds. So this is crazy. It's going back over to Mortarion though, so this might be enough. But Roboute also has that ability to possibly come back. So I'm just going to check all the stats, make sure that I'm doing all of their attacks right, weapons are right. We'll keep rolling here, and we're going to see who comes home with this one because it's a hell of a battle. So these two continue to battle out. I was just looking at their stats there to see how everything was going. And we have some stuff here that hopefully, if Roboute falls, his Armor of Fate's going to be able to protect him. But first we have to roll for Mortarion. He does have his Silence, which is his massive scythe. There are 2 profiles for this. I have to select one before making an attack. So there is an attack 5 at strength 14. And then there's an attack 15 dice at strength 8. So Roboute does have the toughness of 9. So to make sure that I get a better roll there, I'm going to be rolling the strike profile for Silence. So that's 5 dice, hitting on a 2+. Here we go. So all of those are through. And as we saw, I think Roboute could have actually probably killed Mortarion during that last turn, but because of Nurgle's gift, protecting him, minusing that 1 toughness, and also minusing the 1 hit roll because of the affliction that happened, Roboute was not able to finish him. So these 5 have all gone through. It is usually, actually, I probably should have chosen the other profile. It would have been forced to roll. I'll explain in just a sec here. So because of the Nurgle's gift, there's a -1 to toughness for any model that's within that radius. Right now, Roboute is definitely in there because he's touching base to base with Mortarion. And as we said, like all the flies and rot and everything is getting into Roboute's eyes. So he has a toughness now of 8 as opposed to 9 usually. And the Silence sweep attack is an 8 strength. I would have had rolled 4s. In this case, it's going to be a strength 14, which is going to be 3s to wound. But it's still, maybe I could have gone the other way. I would have got a lot more dice, possibly. But we'll do this. So we need 3s now to be able to wound Roboute. And maybe I should have done that. So we had 3 fall off. There are 2 through. Roboute's save is not affected other than the AP, because one of the other contagions that can happen from Nurgle's gift is that your save is affected. And what we're doing here is going to be -3 to AP, so that brings Roboute up to his 4+ invulnerable. And then whatever makes it through here is a D6 +1. So we're really hoping for 4s here for Roboute. I'm going to switch to white dice, just because. That's what he's fighting with. So we're going to do saves on 4s here. And he saved both. Wow. Okay, so Roboute is still alive. He has not had to use the Armor of Fate yet. And Mortarion is down to 2 wounds. So this is going to be a really good fight. I was thinking Mortarion was going to kind of clean the floor here, but Roboute is definitely fighting. And I can move him now. So this is going to be Roboute's move. And he is going to be moving his 8 inches to get some space here, but also keep in range. So I've moved him in between the buildings. I just want to see if that's in frame. Yeah, you guys can see him. He's just right down here. And he is going to fire again with the Hand of Dominion. It's not the most strong weapon. I'm also going to see if he's going to get that bonus. He is within 15 inches, so that means he gets his rapid fire 2. So he is going to be getting 4 attacks, hitting on a 2+. Actually, his hit isn't affected because it's still the 6 inches right now for Nurgle's gift. So no, he's not affected. So he's going to get his full. So what happens there is if he was within 6 inches, 9 inches next turn, there's a -1 to hit, just like when he was in hand-to-hand combat for firing as well, because it's tough to see Mortarion through all the cloud of flies and everything. But this is going to be 4 attacks, hitting on a 2+. So 1 fell off. You'd think it'd be easier getting 2s. I always say it, but here we are. It is strength 6 versus that toughness 12, so we need 6 again here to wound. And didn't get it. So 2, 3, 5, that is it for that. And I think we know what's going to happen here. If he's within range, Mortarion is moving his 10 inches. Yep, and he's going to be back into hand-to-hand combat with Roboute. I'm just going to move his disc back here, his wound disc. So Mortarion's strong enough to push a Promethium canister out of the way. He's coming back in with those 2 wounds. Maybe I should have gone into hand-to-hand combat there with Roboute again, but I don't know. He would have been taking a lot of penalties. He's going to be taking that anyway. So I'm going to get the dice sorted here, and we'll start rolling for these 2 when I get back. There we go. We'll move the camera up a little bit just to get more of this incredible battle in. So I'm going to be using this time the Silence Sweep, which is going to be 15 attacks, coming in at strength 8. Mortarion's not messing around here. He wants to finish off his brother. I don't know if he knows about the Armor of Fate yet, but we'll see. And hopefully that's going to be able to save Roboute, because this is not looking great. So this is going to be 15 attacks, Silence Sweep. It's a -1 to the toughness because of that contagion. It's now 9 inches because of the turn that we're in. So there's 9-inch circle around Mortarion of pestilence and just rot and disgustingness. So this is going to be 2 pluses to hit. So quite a few fell off. My dice are pretty far away now, so I'm going to be using just red for everybody. We'll see if that helps or hinders Roboute. I always have trouble rolling with red dice for my Imperium models for some reason. So it's strength 8 versus toughness 8. Usually toughness 9. This would be usually 5s to wound. It's now 4s to wound because of the Nurgle's gift. So this is 4s. And a lot fell off there, actually. So we'll see. It would be incredible if Roboute could fight back here and maybe finish his brother in turn. We'll have to see. So it's a -2 to AP. That's going to be bringing Roboute up to his 4+. Holy shit, he saved them all. So that is incredible. That means that Roboute has taken no damage. If he had, it would have been 2 damage per that would have gone through. So he had 3 4s and a 6. That's with his invulnerable. He is still alive, and he's going to be fighting back here in just a second. So I'm not going to lie, the Emperor might be protecting there. Roboute is carrying his sword. I did not expect that. I thought Roboute was going to be going down. He does have the ability to come back, possibly with the Armor of Fate, but I thought that was going to be the end of him for sure. So he's still alive. He has 4 wounds remaining. Mortarion has 2. And we are going to be fighting back here with Roboute with some pretty damn good profiles. So the Emperor's Sword, again, is 14 attacks, usually hitting on a 2+. It's a 3+ because of Mortarion's Nurgle's gift. So we're looking for 3s. And several are through. So there we go. It is strength 8 versus toughness 12. So we're going to need 5s to wound here. A lot fell off. Let me just move these up so you guys can see. I'll make sure that I'm getting these in frame this time. There they all are. So we needed 5s there, so a lot fell off. We only got 2 attacks through from the original 14, and that's just Mortarion's toughness. He was probably the toughest of the Primarchs, they said, and that's why he got Nurgle. His backstory is like he used to be like a peon to these warlords that lived on a mountain full of pestilence and plague and toxins, and he kind of adapted because of his physiology. So he's very strong, and in 30K, him and Rogal Dorn actually have the highest toughness of all the Primarchs, and that has carried on for sure over the last 10,000 years, while he has gotten more gifts of Nurgle. Anyways, so this is going to be -3 to AP, which brings Mortarion up to his 4+. Anything that doesn't go through here is 2 wounds. So if one of those goes through, it means that he is dead. So if you're cheering for Mortarion, you are looking for a 4+. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Roboute Guilliman, with 4 wounds remaining, has killed his brother Mortarion. So that is 2 damage per. That would be enough to take another couple wounds off Mortarion. He had 2 remaining. And we have Roboute Guilliman as the victor for the last fight of the heavyweight Fight 'em Up series first round. He is going to be taking on Angron in the next round. Good luck to you, because we saw Angron absolutely decimate the Norn Assimilator there in just a sec, or just a second ago. So I'm going to zoom in here, get a nice quick shot. There he is. So still had 4 wounds remaining. Let's just see for fun. The Armor of Fate. So if Mortarion had somehow killed him there, he needs a 3+, and if he rolls a 3+, he comes back on the field with, I believe, 8 wounds. Let me just see here. So I'm just going to roll that and we'll see. I think you guys can see it. Yeah, he got a 5, so he would have been coming back anyways, and Mortarion would have had almost a full model again to fight. So that is it for this one. Thank you guys again for watching. I'm going to get these edited up. Hope they look good. Try to keep the dice in frame this time. So our next fight there is going to be Gazskull versus the Lion. The fight after that will be Angron versus Roboute. And we're going to see who moves into the finals after that, because this is the semifinals coming up. So thank you guys again for watching. Please like, subscribe. Finnigan 40K Fight 'em Up series heavyweight class. We'll see you soon.